So, but there was another release that happened also. It's one that we got to talk about more extensively, and that is of the writer that was hired by WWE a couple weeks ago, Kenice Mobley. She was a writer, a comedy writer, because she's a comedian. She was brought in by WWE to write comedy segments in between the matches and stuff, the backstage segments, basically. Because you know how bad they are, but you know, she came out on a podcast called she appeared on the Asian Not Asian podcast, where she revealed that she knew nothing about professional wrestling. Now, before I get into the transcripts of what had said, Prime, you know me, we've been doing this show for years.
Mm-hmm.
I root for anybody black.
Mm-hmm.
But this was stupid.
It was stupid on both ends.
It was stupid on WWE's part and stupid on her part. And I'm not going to sit here and defend for her because she's black. No, that was just completely dumb. And first of all, I know WWE doesn't require you to know anything about professional wrestling or who every Royal Rumble winner was since 1988 when it started, or whatever the case may be, because Vince McMahon does not like professional wrestling. You already see how cringe out he gets when Stone Cold calls it wrestling, which is what it is. He wants it to be sports entertainment, but at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's professional wrestling. So obviously that's not part of the job requirement. But she gets on this podcast, and this is the comment of the transcript that she made. She says, "Yes, I have been hired by WWE. Given the things that you know about me and my entire life and what I'm into, yes." That's surprising because she's a comedian. She doesn't know much about wrestling. And she says, yes, also a surprise for me. They did not require me to know anything about wrestling, but I do have a background in film production and comedy writing, and they like, perfect, come on in. So I am on the Monday Night Raw team. So there's a Monday Night Raw and a Friday Night Smackdown, and the people I know that are on it are Bobby. His name is either Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley, and I really should know that. He's like this giant black guy, and he and the people who are a part of his crew, I know that they are called, or at least as of last year, they call themselves the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business, they wear suits and they're like, we're cool. Now, I know because she was saying, I had to go back and listen to some clips. Was saying that she was saying it like in a joking manner to try to be funny because she's a comedian and stuff like that. But if you're going to a team or a job and it's like you don't know who the general manager is, it's kind of a problem a little bit. And it wasn't just the thing that she said, because there's another transcript here that they did not take down. But here's the thing that she was talking about. A friend of hers asked her, how do you feel giving up your self-worth or whatever the case may be like that, working for WWE? And she never denied that working for WWE is kind of like, you know, dehumanizing or whatever the case may be. But she just said, hey, they pay good money, they pay better money, and I'm going to take the money. That's basically what she said.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, well, guess what? When that got out, a day later, she got fired. Now, WWE claims and says that it was not because of this podcast, what she said, but Prime, me and you both know that's bullshit. Okay? And a couple of things here. A nail in the coffin, I think, was really that when her friend was saying working for WWE as being like dehumanized or whatever the case may be, and she didn't say, you know, she didn't defend for them, and basically just said, yeah, I kind of know what it is, but I want the money anyway. That did not help her case at all. Then getting on the podcast and not knowing who the WWE champ, it's different if Bobby, and I'm not saying it's right because that's just disrespectful in itself also, but he's the WWE champion. That's the main champion on that show. And you talk about a group, even though I hate to admit this, has not been together since the beginning of this year. So, you know, with that being said, you made yourself look like an ass. But then on the other case of it, WWE doesn't make it look better either, because this is who you're hiring, and you wonder why there's a problem with the show. You wonder why there's problems with the writing of the show when you had these people who don't know professional wrestling. And like I say, you may not have to have the qualifications of knowing what every WrestleMania main event was, but you gotta at least know who the champion is. You gotta have some kind of respect for that. And I'm also an advocate for, when it comes to diversity, the diversity really needs to also start behind the scenes. Like, I would agree they need a diversity writing team, because if you had diversity in the writing room, then maybe Lucha House Party wouldn't be coming out with a piñata. You know, all the stereotypical writing for different ethnic groups of people, especially when you're dealing with blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians.
What are you talking about? We got black people and white people writing, that's all.
You know, when you got no people, and then you're also dealing with the LGBTQ community, it's good.
What? What is that? I know my alphabets.
I can see him saying shit like that. I can see Vince saying some shit like that. So you gotta let me know your thoughts on this.
I just thought, first of all, you didn't read the whole thing. See, there was another part, like the whole part. I was like, yeah, okay, that's upsetting. But the part that made me upset, I was like, they had to fight her immediately. She said, she posted, I can't wait for somebody to tell me what a heel, HEAL.
Wait, she said she can't wait for somebody to tell her what
a heel is.
See.
And she spelled heel HEAL.
Oh.
And that's why I was like, well, she's fired.
Yes. See, and it sounds like, because she's a comedian, she's trying to be funny. And like, hey, sorry to me, what the hell is it? I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's the thing. Why do I want that kind of person on my writing team? There are people.
It's like,
go ahead.
It reminds me, it's like how a wrestler tries to get heat by saying stuff like that, but she's like not a wrestler. She's barely know what kayfabe is, trying to say stuff for heat. That's what it seems like. That's how people would say. Yeah, that's what it seems like. But it's like, no, this is not getting over at all. Actually.
Yeah, it's probably more so like, yeah, I'm on. This is what they do in wrestling, so let me try it, and then end up losing her job. But the thing is, you know, like I said, I'm not blaming her for her not knowing wrestling, because people have been tearing her ass apart online for her not knowing wrestling and disrespected Bobby Lashley and so forth and so forth. I'm not going to come down so hard on her for not knowing. Everybody in this world don't know wrestling. The IWC, it sounds big, but it's a small. Like, wrestling fans is not as big as football. Well, I mean, it may be, but you know, with a lot of wrestling fans being out there, everybody's not a wrestling fan.
I'm gonna say everybody is not a fan, but I can understand why they are so upset, because I mean, it's like you don't know the main person. I mean, that's like, I can understand if it was like a Ricochet, she called him Ricochet or Rico.
Yeah, but it's the WWE champion. You have to know.
You can't remember Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
You need Leo Rush back to remind you what his name is.
But yeah, with that, and not knowing that the Hurt Business was still even a thing, and not knowing what a heel is, like, those are things you need to know if you're going to be writing. What are they going to bring you in because you're a black lady? They're going to come in there and have you just write for R-Truth doing 24/7 segments? R-Truth don't need no writer. R-Truth is a gem on his own. But the other segments that they try to write, that's why these shows feel so damn scripted and everything, because like, you don't need writers for this shit. I mean, you write the storylines out, but back in the day when they were doing their segments backstage, they was sitting there, they gave them a general idea of what needs to be said, and let the superstars come up with their own character and let them develop that stuff. But now when you have all these writers that are writing for different people that they shouldn't be writing for in the first place, they sound robotic and idiotic. Do they not?
No, they do. Especially when you gotta be like, you gotta say the script word by word by word. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, everybody. Like I said, you. That's why you have to also have diversity in the writing team also, because everybody is different. I'm not expecting like the stuff R-Truth pulls off. Drew Gulak not pulling that off.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
Actually, he did for a little bit when he had that presentation PowerPoint.
Yeah, but see, that he had a different level of his personality opposed to R-Truth. He's not doing this. He's not doing the same thing. It's like, what MVP does on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Or what the New Day do is not going to be the same thing Jackson Riker's going to do.
Put on the red hat.
Say what?
Put on the red hat.
Yeah, and bruh, I mean, you seen him with his haircut now. I mean, that man is leading to be like open door, overtime. So, this is a huge WWE problem, and they were probably embarrassed because it all came out, and everybody knows that the WWE machine and their writing staff it probably sucks. And like I said, and she didn't come out and say, no, WWE is not like that. It's a good company to work at, and I recommend people to work at that, and then they also they pay good money. But she didn't say none of that. She just said, yeah, I kind of get it, but I just want the money. It's like basically, I have no self-worth anyway. I just want to get paid. And whether it was saying it to be funny or whatever the case may be at the podcast, it was just badly timed, and that's what happened. And she got fired. And that's on her. That is on her, but it's on WWE. Like, we have people out here. There are people that are out there writing that have an idea, at least a general idea of wrestling. Even if you only know from like 2008 on down. That's enough to know how wrestling works, how the wrestlers will talk to each other, and how different characters or different people will express their personalities. That's what needs to be happening. So, that right there, I'm telling you. I never got it, but yeah, she got. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE like this. Look, don't let it happen again, and hire her behind closed doors.